got this tempera paint stick set, and I'm going to start by swatching out all the colors. I'm going to be using my mixed media sketchbook, and I kind of feel like this is becoming like a color journal of sorts. I do a lot of color swatching and mixing in here, and giving myself little notes on different colors that I have mixed. I've just done some basic sketching in here as well, but I definitely think this notebook is becoming more of a color, I guess like a color journal and like an experiment. Well, I use it for my brayer rolling. Like anytime I'm doing work with my gel plate, I push my brayer around on here. And then sometimes I just experiment with color. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna start out by swatching these tempera paint sticks. This collection has classic, metallic, and neon colors. I'll be doing all of those. These are all of the classics across the top, including until the white. So classics are until the white, then it's metallics until the silver, and then the rest are neon. If you are not familiar with the tempera sticks, I feel like they are similar to gelatos. They kind of look like a tube of lipstick, and they're very smooth. And I'm going to be experimenting with them today because I want to see if they blend with each other and if they blend with water. So I'm just gonna play around with these today. First, I'm gonna swatch, then I'm gonna play around. So here are all of the colors swatched out. At the top, on the top 3 rows, we have all of the classic colors. And then this row right here is the metallic. If you can see. And then the last row is the neon. They are really, really smooth going on. The next thing I want to do is I want to play around with seeing if they mix together when I have different colors overlapping. So just in case you guys didn't notice, as I was swatching the colors that I really loved, I put them back upside down so the cap was facing the opposite direction, and these are the colors that I was really drawn to. This kind of Indian yellow type color, this teal, this darker, which is probably close to an indigo, the metallic gold, and then the fluorescent pink. So I'll definitely be using those again. Should probably write on here as well. Let's say what these are. Now let's play around with our primary colors and see what kind of mixing can happen. It doesn't really excite me. Maybe you guys can see those. They don't blend together that well. I kind of didn't expect them to. I mean, they are like a kid art supply, but I was kind of hoping they would. Let me see what happens if I add water, if it's any better. So it does start to blend better when you use the water, but what it starts to do is get kind of gross and it kind of starts to pull, what it's doing is like pulling that pigment out and then it's like pushing it around. So, I mean, does it work? Does it mix better? Yes, but at the same time, it's probably not something I would do. Like I would probably just rather get like a watercolor paint or something that's gonna blend on its own. So far, I like them as they are. Like they're so smooth and they're fun to just draw like on their own, but I'm not going to probably plan on like mixing them much or trying to mix them and get another color even with the water. I don't know though. I'm gonna keep playing around. So for that round, I tried to blend with my fingers, and what ended up happening was it would start to take away, it would start to pull the color like off the page. When I did yellow first and then red, I was really trying to blend and then it was kind of taking the red away. So then I decided to do yellow second. That worked a little bit better. When I did blue with yellow on top, that worked a little bit better. But you can kind of see how it's like pulling the color away. And that worked while it was fresh, like before it dried. I feel like that's the reason that was working a little bit better. Okay, so I flipped over the page and a little bit of the a little bit of the paint got on this other paper, but I'm not super worried about it. There's another technique that people use with gelatos where they mix the gelato with different mediums. So I was going to try mixing it with modeling paste, also known as molding paste. So it can be molding paste or modeling paste, either one is the same. So I have this well-loved canister and I'm going to get out some of this paste. I actually think this might be getting a little bit dry. And let's try one of these colors. Let's try a darker color in case the modeling paste dulls it down a bit. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a palette knife and I'm just going to take a piece of the color and I simply just sliced it off the top. And then I'm going to mix that in, hopefully, and see if it acts like gelatos. It's pretty grainy. Let's get some more modeling paste. Now I do this all the time with acrylic paint. I mix modeling paste straight with the paint and I use it especially with stencils. This purple is actually really pretty. So this looks cool. It is kind of chunky. There were definitely some like of the pieces like left. I can't get it like perfectly blended up. But it leaves a really cool texture. Let me go get a stencil. Yeah, that looks cool. So it's probably going to be hard to show you guys, but this, when it's added with the modeling paste, is giving so much texture, and I love adding this into different pieces of my artwork. Let me see if I can go from the side. Hopefully it's showing some of the bumps and the texture there for you. So I have a piece of paper here that already has some yellow paint on it. Let's experiment on that and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm just using a baby wipe to clean off the palette knife, and I cleaned off my stencil as well because I don't like the modeling paste drying up on the stencil. I don't mind if modeling paste, or I don't mind if paint gets all gunky on my tools, but the modeling paste is so thick I don't like leaving that on there. So this is just one of the little tools that I mentioned in my supply video the other day. It's actually for making like silicone mugs. Is that right? Yeah, it's for like the epoxy mugs. You can check out that supply video if you want to see these. They're really cheap on Amazon. This is the first time I'm actually using them, and they're working really well, just like digging out my modeling paste. I'm going to close that up because I don't want it to dry up any more than it already is. So let's use the color, this like kind of turquoise color that I was really drawn to. I forgot I was also really drawn to this pretty like kind of like fern green. Okay. Right, so I just chopped off a little piece on the top. And now I'm just pressing down and I'm going to mix that up with the modeling paste. And in case you're wondering, over here I am working on a craft mat. See how it's kind of spotty? Can you guys see that? It's kind of spotty. It's not blending right away. I even feel like that could be kind of a cool effect like not mixing it all the way. But what I was going to say about this craft mat, I also mentioned this in that supply video that I recently did. This one's really spotty. Like, there's still large chunks of the tempera cake left in there, but I kind of don't mind. So I'm going to use that. Let me find the stencil that I want to use. Some of my favorite stencils. Maybe one of these would be cool. This is so sticky. Like, this is not going anywhere. It's so stuck on there. It's such a pretty color. All right, let's peel that off. Awesome. I wonder if I'll be able to ghost print that. Let's see. Yeah. That's my favorite. All right, so how cool is that? And I know it's hard to see, but there is some awesome texture. Imagine like it's like a frosting and everything is like sticking up just a little bit. And then this is equally cool. I'm excited that that came out. And again, what happens is there's still like that texture there. So there's like a ghost print here, but it's really textural and I love it. This is why playing around is really, really important. All right. And no, that wasn't perfectly dry and then it came over here, but whatever. All right, let me go clean this off with a baby wipe. Okay, there is another way that we could use the stencil effect, and it also has to do with the baby wipes, and I thought of it because I have those out. So if we do the tempera stick first, so you can lay down your color first, and again, I don't know if this is going to work with the tempera paint sticks, but I know it works with gelatos. Then you can use a baby wipe to wipe away some of the color. Yeah, that's working. It's also kind of just like blending it out, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of cool. It leaves like a subtle mark where you used the baby wipe and rubbed away the color. And that could be a really fun thing to use like in art journaling or in your mixed media piece. And then this one's finally drying, so it's like with the really bumpy and textural. And just in case anybody's wondering, I did take a look at the stencils that I'm using, and I believe most of them are from the Crafters Workshop, but I got these like a bajillion years ago. I've had these for so long, so I don't know if they would even still be around, but just in case anybody was wondering, and yeah, they're really well loved. Like I've been using these for years, so. I'll try one more thing. I'm wondering if mixing together like similar colors will work. Like if I'm using like kind of like all greens. I'm wondering if they'll like blend at all while they're... Like if you were going to use just these tempera sticks to make a piece of art. I don't know, I'm just not loving that, and I think that's okay. Like, you don't have to love everything. Like, can you have some fun? Can it be okay? Yeah. And again, these are like so cheap, so they're not the same cost as a gelato. Metallic brown. I also just don't think it's like Like for me, I'm like, I don't really need to sit and try to, I don't need to really sit and try to paint like a pear or something like with these. I think these are just kind of something like fun that I could add in another piece. Like these don't have to be the piece of artwork. Does that make any sense? I like that light green. It kind of just blends everything up. I haven't even tried the white, like, over another color. Oh, hey, look at that. It's kind of pretty. These do not blend like normal. It's okay. It's okay. I'm okay. What do you guys think of my pear? I'm really annoyed that that stem is straight up. I wish it was like more that way. Oh well. I also haven't drawn a like still life or fruit in so long. So my favorite colors were like that fern green. Is it this one? Yeah. Turquoise. Metallic gold. I forgot to show you guys that close up. That's what my pear needs. Some gold. Hot pink. And what was the other one? Oh yeah. I think that's it. Those are kind of my favorite colors, and they look fun together. The only other thing I was going to do was try to do something on wood. So give me just a second. So I always keep these little gesso panels around, and when I first got them I just splashed some paint on them so that they wouldn't be white and so boring. And they have texture to them. I don't remember the brand offhand. I will link them in the description though so you guys know. I know they were from Jerry's Artorama, but I thought it would be fun to try out the tempera cakes on top of some wood. So let's use these favorite colors I had and see what happens if I just start adding these in like a piece and what they do. A little blend. So it's this one. It's old. I can tell why now I'm really drawn to this green color because I already have it on this canvas too. Wait, that's the wrong one. This one. This is the one I chopped off the top of, so I was just trying to like round off the edge a little bit. Those pink dots are almost erasing. Like when they're still wet, you can almost like erase them. I just realized I dropped this pencil into that teal paint because I had gotten it on this finger and then got it on the side of my painting. So that's okay, we can do more of that. Alright, well I definitely didn't intend to dive into so much detail or like dive into this little piece, but I did. And I'm not even saying that it's done, and I think that's okay. Put a little bit of white. But it was really fun to work on because it was fun to go from color swatching all the way to working on what could potentially be a finished piece. And keep in mind that I will probably do like a spray varnish on this to like seal all this up, and I have a spray varnish that I love to use that's also UV protectant. So even though this is like a kid art supply and they're washable, I will spray varnish that so that I think it's set. It is nice that they're acid free. Let me put this behind a blank background. Just a minute. I thought it might be nice to see this piece without the cluttered background. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me play around with these tempera paint sticks today, and maybe that opened your eyes a little bit to some of the potential that this art material has. If you try any of these techniques, I would love to know. Let me know in the description. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I know one of the most important things for me right now is playing around with lots of art materials and getting this time to experiment and play and see where it leads me. So by no means am I saying that this piece is a masterpiece, but it was so much fun to create, and that's really all that matters to me right now. So thanks for playing along. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd love for you guys to stick around. And if you have any other materials that you want to see me experiment with, let me know. Another thing I thought I would show you is that earlier whenever I cleaned off these stencils, I cleaned them off with a baby wipe and set them in this thing that I got from IKEA. And that's the first time I've ever done that, but now I have a little way to dry my stencils. I did kind of forget to mention that overall, my review of these tempera sticks are that I really enjoy them. I love how smooth they are, and I think the colors are really great. I love that this package came with classic, metallic, and neon. So overall, I really do enjoy these, especially for the price. I think in the beginning, when it was a little difficult for me to blend colors, I didn't love that so much, but by the time I got to the pear in my sketchbook, and then I jumped over to this wood piece, then I was really enjoying it. So I thought I would just show you some of the details over here. It's right next to a window, and I thought I would show you some of the details of this piece, like a close-up. I will say that this little section right here is where I was really rubbing and trying to get some of that white tempera paint to move around or lift off. And it got a little gunky there, but it doesn't really bother me. I'm just going to seal over that and leave that texture as is. Well, I hope you guys liked this tutorial. So I did just want to end on the fact that overall I did really enjoy these and I had fun with them. And if you have any questions, ask them below.